Kudukhov.
Here comes Kudukhov of Azerbaijan, 28 years old, 2009 European champion, and at just 23, Kudukhov, the Russian. And he was wrestling at 55 kilos. He has just moved up. 132 pounds at 60 kilos.
And it's the former Soviet Union, the powerhouse. Back in the the 80s, the 70s, they had one representative from Russia. Now the Russians have really actually started showing their dominance. They don't have just one wrestler. They have potentially up to 20 wrestlers. Every country gets a representative here at the World Championships, and it's amazing to see how many of these great Russians have gone through the system and actually show up in the finals. And so this is another classic battle. Russia, wrestling Russia for the World Championships. It's the two best wrestlers in the world, and they come from Russia.
And Azerbaijan has jumped onto the scene internationally because they've gotten a lot of money infused into their program. A lot of that oil money has found its way into wrestling, hasn't it?
It has. You look at the old Russian system, and a lot of those old wrestlers, a lot of those old athletes, they didn't have money back in the day, so there was a lot of sponsorship through, real estate or taking care of them. And now since the system's opened up, it's given, athletes a lot of opportunities to go in and get the best training, get the best training partners, the best clothing, have all the components to become a world champion. And, you only start to see half of the success. It's going to be amazing to see what happens in the next 10 to 15 years in Russia, to see the support and the drive of the sport.
Kudukhov picking up 2 points right there. He started that whole sequence with a single leg.
And that was pretty amazing. It was a single leg position, and they didn't give him the points for the takedown yet, but what they did is they gave him a turn. So he got a 2-point exposure of your opponent's back and got 2 points, but didn't actually get the takedown. So it could be actually a 1-point takedown and 2, but they didn't give that. They only awarded him just with a 2-point near fall.
Besik Kudukhov, the Russian in the blue, has already been a world champion, but at 55 kilos. That was in 2007. And he was also the bronze medalist at the 2008 Olympics. He actually lost to the American Henry Cejudo, who's not here.
Yeah, and Kudukhov, as you can see him, he's really almost a little bit elastic. He's really a go-getter, always kind of shaking and moving, knows he got that first period. And the problem with that is you watch your opponent, you watch his confidence build. And in losing that first period, you realize I have to establish myself, but the momentum is in your opponent's favor. And that's straight where Kudukhov took his opponent's aggressiveness and it's kind of took him over to his back for the exposure, to win the first period. And that's a big attempt here. And you try to find an opportunity in a defensive position to score. You actually cost yourself the first period. You have to be smarter, and you realize you can't make those funky moves in those positions. You need to use a little more probably basic technique is what his coach was telling him in the corner.
And that was something you were just trying to teach me about, is using your opponent's aggression against him.
Yeah, it is. You don't want to start pushing your opponent out of bounds, because anytime you do the push out, it's worth a point. But when you're pushing yourself that hard to take him out of bounds and you get off balance, your opponent can take you out of bounds that much easier. So it's about attack and re-attack, positioning, understanding the body's movement. And that's one of the things that's pretty amazing is you're looking at two athletes, same physical ability, same size, and which athlete can put combination of moves together.
Big move here by Kudukhov, just lifting up, hoisting off and throwing him down.
Oh, absolutely amazing from the change of level to drop the ability to get in there and get a great double leg position to taking your opponent from the feet to his back worth 3 points. Plus, they're going to be giving him an additional point for exposure. Each one of these attempts going across his back is not more points. He gets the original 3, and he should get 1 for holding his opponent on his back. If he lets him go square down and base up, he'll probably get another 2 if he can expose him again.
Kudukhov was just playing with him there for about 30 seconds and finally took him down to the mat. And Kudukhov, a dominant position now here in the second period. He already won the first. It's the best 2 out of 3. So now less than a minute to go.
And the referees or the officials did not see it the way I was just explaining it. They didn't give them you know, the 1 point for exposing, keeping him on his back. Since he was on his hands, he was too high off of the mat. They didn't feel that he was exposing his back, so they didn't give him the opportunity to get that extra point.
So it remains 3-0 rather than 4-0, but still Kudukhov now, he doesn't need to do anything, but he continues to be in control.
And you can see, you know, Husanov there got out of position. He's down. He's getting a little bit anxious. He started really trying to get physical, and all Kudukhov did is change the level, drop in there, finish it up for another point takedown. You know, Husanov has to be frustrated, but you can't just lose control, because if you give up 2 more points, the match is over anyways.
And Husanov is being dominated. You're looking at a guy who was 5th at the Olympics in Beijing. So one of the best wrestlers on the planet, and he can't get anything going against Besik Kudukhov, the Russian.
It's just superior position. You know, Kudukhov is in better position in every, you know, situation to win the World Championships. Great match.
For Kudukhov, well, he was the best at 55 kilos, a world champion in 2007, and now he's a world champion in 2009 at 60 kilos. So the weight changed, but the result the same. Complete domination by Kudukhov here.
The new world champion.